Hello everyone, Coach Carlos here, aka Fitness Adaptations, aka La Máquina. Feel free to call me whichever one of those you wish, or you can just call me Coach, or whatever you want to call me. Hey, I don't mind. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the ideal body types. And just a brief history on how I came up with those body types. I've been competing in bodybuilding for over a decade. And not only that, but I've been training clients and athletes for over a decade. So we're talking about hundreds of people, thousands of sessions. And in bodybuilding, there's different categories. And, starting with, the more achievable, naturally achievable physiques to the not so natural physiques. Goes both for men and women. I've also studied models because I've had clients who want to be like social media models, or they want to do runway modeling. And so I've been able to study all kinds of body types. And from the hundreds of people that I've done assessments for, I always ask them the questions: which body type do you prefer? What do you want to look like? And throughout the years, I came up with the most common, the most popular body types that people would tell me they want to achieve. But on top of that, I came up with realistic weights and body fats that you should be at to be ideally healthy, because you don't want to walk around 3% body fat. Not everybody wants to do that, but you don't want to have too much body fat, because then now you start suffering from different illnesses, high blood pressure, diabetes. There's so many things that can occur or develop when you have high body fat. So the idea is that we want to have an ideal body fat, and also we want to have the ideal lean muscle mass. And what happens with a lot of people is that sometimes they're like 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and for them to understand that their ideal weight is 120, let's say 14% body fat, it is mind-blowing to them. It is impossible in their head, when in reality, that's where they're supposed to be. So I want you to understand that the body types that I give you, and I explain to you, there's numbers in there, and now you need to know those numbers. So don't just be like, okay, I'm 300 pounds and I'm just gonna diet and do cardio. Because what ends up happening is you end up losing muscle you can't afford to lose, which is why people end up looking saggy. They don't like, even though they lose 200 pounds, they don't like the way they look. They don't have any definition. They don't have any shape. And because, again, you need to have a specific amount of muscle and a specific amount of fat, so you can have the right body fat and the right body that you want. So read the article. I got more information on there, and I'm going to provide you with more resources so that you can better understand and even select which body type you need to have. All right, so let's go over the ideal body types. All right, so the first body type that we're going to go with is normal. A normal body, the way I explain it is, if I was to walk into a supermarket and I run into one of my friends and I look at them, but I'm not gonna be like, hey man, you've been training, you've been working out, you look fit. No, they just look ordinary. They look normal. They're not skinny, they're not overweight, and maybe they have a little bit of a belly, not too much, but they just look ordinary. Then you can't tell if they go to the gym, but they don't look like they're unhealthy either. So they're just normal. They don't have a lot of muscle. There's no muscularity is what we call it. Okay. Now, an athletic person is someone that you walk into. Let's say you walk into a CrossFit gym, or you walk into any gym, and you look at them. You're like, man, you look like you exercise. You look like you're fit, right? But they're not overly muscular. They don't have a lot of muscle. You're not gonna be like, wow, man, you are impressive with the amount of muscle that you have. You're not gonna be impressed, but you're gonna be like, man, I can tell you work out. I can tell you're fit. You're not slim, but you're not normal either by any means, right? You look like you exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week, right? But you're not doing any type of extraneous or hard lifting, heavy weights, anything like that. Okay. Athletic muscular. Now we're gonna get into someone who's a little bit more. I say their physical, their physique is more impressive. Like, you're like, wow, that person is strong. It looks like they go hard on the gym. They probably go to the gym 5 to 6 times per week. They look strong, they look muscular, you can tell they got good shape, all right? And so that would be an athletic muscular physique. Muscular physique is someone like me. I have a lot of muscle for my body type. So I do lift very heavy. I do eat a lot of calories. I do train to have this physique, okay? I have this physique because I train for it, and I train for it the right way. I do the right science. I do hypertrophy training. I do strength training, power training, high intensity training. I do it all, which has allowed me to develop this physique. So starting with the muscular physique, right? So I'm muscular. If I reduce my lean muscle mass, let's say by 10 pounds, right? How would I lose 10 pounds? I would just stop lifting and just do cardio, right? And lower my calories. If I do that, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and I'll become athletic muscular, right? I'll still have the same body fat, I'll just look a little slimmer, right? So, and this is very important because there's a lot of you, most of you are either normal or an outlier, you're slim, but you have a lot of body fat. So you're slim or normal in the amount of muscle that you have. And if you start dieting and just doing cardio, just start doing Zumba, just start doing spinning, but you don't do any weightlifting and you diet, you're not only gonna become slim, you're gonna go under slim, you're gonna be way super skinny, which is why you don't have definition, which is why you're not toned, which is why you need to lift weights. My women, right, especially you girls, that you think that because you pick up 10-pound dumbbells, you're gonna look like Ronnie Coleman, you're gonna look huge and enormous like the Hulk. Not gonna happen, impossible. So you need to get that fear out of your head that weightlifting is gonna make you look like a man. Absolutely false. It's if you are under, right, the normal amount of muscle that you need, or even even if you're slim and you wanna look toned, you wanna have shape, you have to lift weights. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to, okay? So when it comes to the body types, right? Normal, I would say women, Google a Victoria's Secret model, a runway model. Most of those girls are slim. They have to look slim for the camera because their cameras, they change the angles, they change, it's a lot of manipulation to make someone slim look like a little bit different than what they really look like in person. So if you were like in pictures, you're gonna see like, wow, this person looks normal, right? Normal and lean, but in real life, when you see them in person, they're actually slim or really skinny. Okay, so don't get suckered, don't get tricked or fooled by pictures and videos that have been manipulated by professionals, right? Whose job is to make you think that a person looks a specific way. All right. So again, normal, Google Victoria's Secret model, runway models, right? That's in real life, that's more or less what the look that you're looking for. Athletic, let's talk about bodybuilding. I want you, the girls, the women, I want you to Google IFBB bikini competitor, right? Those girls are usually athletic looking. They have an athletic amount of muscle. They're not big, they're not small, very achievable naturally. And the only thing you have to understand is that for competitors in bodybuilding, when they step on stage, they're very lean, extreme lean. A lot of them don't keep that body fat year round. Once they finish competing, they gain a little bit of body fat, some gain a lot depending on who's competing. At the amateur level, it's a very nasty thing where people lose a lot of weight really fast. They look great on stage, and then 3 months later, they're obese. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want to make this a lifestyle. So athletic women, look up IFBB bikini competitor. Men, look up IFBB men's physique competitors, right? And I have those terms in the article below. Okay, so check them out. But and then for men, right, on the smaller side of the men's physique, they're athletic. On the bigger side, guys who have a little bit more muscle, a little bit more what we call more jacked, okay? They're athletic muscular. Athletic muscular, again, if you were to look at if you were to Google men's IFBB Olympia, right? You're gonna see they're a little bit bigger. Those guys they have a little bit more muscle. They're more athletic muscular. But the men's physique division, you're gonna be somewhere in here. So here you're gonna be a little bit bigger, maybe 10 pounds more of muscle. Here you're gonna be a little bit smaller, 10 pounds less of muscle, but that's the type of physique you're gonna have, or that you're gonna see when you get to this point, right? And then you have muscular. Muscular would be classic physique. And so IFBB, men's classic physique. For women, you're gonna look up women's IFBB physique, or figure. Figure is a little bit smaller, physique is a little bit bigger, right? So I would say figure for women is athletic muscular, physique is more muscular, right? And then you have bodybuilders, right? So bodybuilders, you're not gonna get there naturally, you're just not. You're gonna have to take some supplements, right? That are not legal in order for you to put on that type of muscle. So that would be the bodybuilder physique for both men and women. So just look up IFBB, women's bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, and you can see pictures and get ideas of what that looks like, right? There's of course there's always side effects and risks that you carry when you decide to take performance enhancements, right? And then you have, so these are my outliers, right? So my outliers are slim and bodybuilder. Slim means that you're very skinny. Marathon runners, right? That's the best example that I can give you of someone who's very slim, someone who's a marathon runner, someone who does like hours and hours of cardio. And I would say, like, America today, most people are slim in terms of the amount of muscle that they have, but they're obese. They have a lot of body fat. So if I was to strip away all that body fat, all right, they would look skinny, right? Very skinny, because they don't have the amount of muscle that they need to look any of these other ones, right? So depending on where you are right now, you would have to have a program. So if you are slim right now, if you have a slim amount of muscle, right, your body fat is really high, you have to go on a muscle building program, all right? And but if you have, let's say, a lot of muscle and you want to lose muscle, you want to go to normal, then you would go on a lot of cardio, aggressive nutrition, aggressive dieting, very high deficit, etc. If you can handle that. But again, I don't recommend it. But I recommend that you find the right program that's gonna get you towards your goal. All right. So now the ideal. Let me write this down. Right. Let me write it with a green. All right. So the ideal body fat for most people, right? So ideal body fat, all right, is around 14%. All right. So on this page, all right, I'm gonna put a link, and I'm gonna give you instructions on how to take your body fat. I'll give you a link to the formula to use, and then see where you are. Right. You might need either a tape measure or you might need calipers. I'll give you both ways, but there's a link down below on how to take your body fat. Watch that video, take your body fat, right, and see if you have 14% or see how far you are. If you're over 20%, you're in trouble. And I'm gonna say most of you are over 20% body fat. And so I would say aim for that. And then if you wanna look, and then depending on your body fat, so let me tell you something. So right now, you see where I'm at right now, I'm probably around 6% body fat. If I was to start eating for the next 3 months and I was to gain like 30 pounds of body fat, all right, I would still have the same amount of muscle that I have right now. It's just that my arms are gonna get bigger, everything's gonna get bigger because I'm gonna gain body fat on top of the muscle, right? But if I gain 30 pounds of fat, I will look obese at that point in time, all right? So even though I still have the same amount of muscle, this body is still here, right? With 30 pounds of body fat in my body, I will look obese, right? So you'll be like, oh, that person probably doesn't even lift. Yet this is, if I was to strip all that body fat away, this is what I would look like, okay? So it's not, these body types is not about you know, what you think you're gonna look like. This is what you will look like, right? And again, I would want you at 14% body fat with that specific amount of muscle. So check out the articles below. I got more things about how to choose your body type, all right? You know, what to look for. And I'm gonna give you some, also I'm gonna give you links to where you can find like your ideal body. I'm gonna put a chart that's your ideal body, and based on your height, how much you're supposed to weigh, right? and then how much muscle mass, how much lean body mass you need to have. So basically, I'll give you your body fat. But again, it's 14%. Just think 14%. But you can look at those charts and you're gonna see what your ideal weight should be. And a lot of you are gonna be shocked because a lot of you might be like over 200-300 pounds, and it's gonna say that you need to be 130, 140 pounds. You're gonna be like, what? Impossible, ridiculous. I'm gonna look like a skeleton. I'm gonna look like this. All these false images are gonna come to your head. But the reality is, that's what you need to be. And it doesn't matter what you think. It only matters is what it really is. And again, those numbers that I give you, that's what you're supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to aim for. And again, if you need help, right, schedule a one-on-one PT session with me. You have everything either on the menu, on the links below, to go ahead and hire me for services, right? Whether you want to speak to me one-on-one or you want me to create a detailed report for you. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Coach Carlos, aka Fitness Adaptations, aka La Máquina. You choose what you want to call me. But again, visit me, right? Go to our Instagram, hashtag all these other things if you are following one of our programs or one of my services, or if you get any of my services and how they work for you, okay? And then you can also follow me. My private Instagram is at fitness_adaptations. All right, again, thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day, and good luck on this journey. I know you're gonna make it. And again, if you need my help, I have services for you, including workouts and everything else you can possibly need. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.